let's start off talking about the wild, and tremendous Ouija board experiences that we had back in our past times. And you know what? For everybody watching, everybody's gonna have their take on like that shit's fake, that's just real, that's just standard.
Ouija board.
But for us, there was a few scenarios where we questioned it, like unexplainable to where like I don't know if this is fake type shit.
Yep. Matt,
you know,
Matt, I'll let you kick it off because my Ouija board experience kind of piggybacks off of your initial start with Ouija board.
Right.
We'll get your take.
Early on, the idea of the Ouija board was always something that was floating around.
Right.
You know, but it was one of those things where it was like, you don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, you don't mess with the Ouija board.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Tell the people what time you were thinking about this. How old were you? What year was it when you were having those thoughts about fucking with some Ouija board?
The earliest Ouija board thoughts was probably like 10, 11.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's when you're first thinking about it.
Yeah, like first thinking about it.
Yeah.
Maybe like even a little bit earlier than that. You know, just curiosity. But I think I was 11 when I first played it, or 13.
You were older than 11.
He was like 12.
Like 12, right? Like 12.
Sixth grade.
Yeah, like 12. Okay, 12. I was like 12 when I first played it. But the thing was when I first played it, we played it together.
Yeah.
Me and Nate. And I remember that time, we didn't have a Ouija board, and we were like, we don't even believe it. We don't even really believe it for real.
No,
but,
I don't even think it was Ouija board.
We literally got a piece of paper.
Yeah, it was a piece of paper.
Piece of paper, and then we used 2 pencils.
Yeah. It was a challenge.
At first, that was the first thing we ever kicked off.
Yeah.
That was the first thing we ever did.
Y'all remember that?
That was like an old school, middle school challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we kicked it off with that to start the idea of like...
Right.
It was like yes, no.
Exactly.
Some fictional shit.
That brought it into like the realm of like paranormal.
Right.
You know, because it was like that. People were claiming that was like some, you know, stuff going on there.
You know?
I never experienced nothing crazy on there. Nothing that I couldn't chalk up to like BS.
Right.
But when we did that Ouija board for the first time, that was crazy because I remember we didn't have no Ouija board, so we said we're just gonna make it out of paper. We're gonna make it out of paper, and we're gonna use like a little thing as the shebang, right? And the weirdest thing happened that day. Not expecting it.
Yeah.
That stuff started working.
Yeah.
It started working, and I swear to God, it wasn't me. Like I was getting chills.
Yeah.
In my body. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, we gotta stop this game.
Yeah.
You know, Nate. If it was you, you were convincing that day because it did not look like it was him.
Yeah.
You know, it did not look like it was him.
What did you experience?
Well, that first day,
really quick.
Yeah.
And sorry to cut you off. Whole time, no one was with a pencil and paper. No one was even able to really like touch it for real.
Yeah.
That was something you just kind of like put back and do it on its own.
Let the spirit do it.
The Ouija board, you actually like have to put your hands on there. So that's a whole nother thing we'll get into. But as far as the paper and the pencil, you couldn't touch it. You just had to stay like in the sideline and like watch it.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yep. And right there, you had no control over like contacting anybody. You just to let them come.
Right.
But that day, you know, we looked up the rules. We're like, how do you play the Ouija board for real? Because we don't want to get ourselves into some.
You don't want to get possessed by a demon.
Exactly. No. So how do you do this stuff? You know, the semi-competent way.
Right.
And it's like, just basically say what's up. We should have a Ouija board episode type.
Man.
You know
Ouija board in the basement of the building.
Oh.
You ever been to the basement?
Lights. Yes, I've been to the basement. I'm trying to do my whole
in this building, I heard once upon a time there was like crackheads.
Died?
I don't know about died.
But they were like flooding this motherfucker.
Like motherfuckers used to be up in this bitch when it was like abandoned.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Or
cracking it up?
Crackheads used to be in this building before it was abandoned. You know what I'm saying?
Cracking it up?
It was the crackhead facility.
A crackhead told me that one time.
Oh my God.
That was once upon a time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe a crackhead died here, and then we're gonna speak to a spirit when we get on the Ouija board.
Wait. Okay. I got a question.
Yeah.
His name ain't Zozo, it's Hobo.
And we get in there with the story. We get
it. This is gonna be a long segment. It's gonna be fleshed out. Imagine like you do the Ouija board and like it's the dead crackhead. Would his spirit still be cracked out? It'd be like you know what I mean? Like in Star Wars when Darth Vader dies, he goes back to Anakin.
Yeah.
Like, would he still be like?
That's a good question. I believe that when you're a spirit, if you're not satisfied with your life or like you got a problem with your life and like you're stubborn about it, you get stuck in here. You know, but if you're like, you know what, God, you're right. Like I tweaked.
Yeah.
Like let me do something. Yeah. You're not gonna stay here. You're gonna move on.
Right.
You know. So if a crackhead died here, it might be like
A cracked out spirit.
Like like I'm still pissed off about that crack.
Yeah.
They
now
put
Zozo and Tobo.
They put some in my crack. You know. That first day on the Ouija board, it worked on the paper. and that blew my mind because I wasn't expecting it to work.
Yeah.
And we contacted a loved one who passed away. Now, I don't want to get into all those details. It's not really that important. But what's important was there was details that like we knew, that we knew, and it was answering the questions, and I was not moving it.
And no one was moving. No one had hands on the bitch.
Nobody was like moving it around. It was doing it on its own. So that's what kind of like made me think twice about it.
Yeah.
But then I heard like online theories about like you move it subconsciously without knowing it. And that always was like, I don't know, I feel like it's a cop-out answer. But maybe scientifically that's the case.
Right.
So I kept playing it and keep playing it with other people.
Yeah.
And out of the couple experiences I saw, like there was scenarios where even if subconsciously that's true, the spirit still knew things that nobody should have knew.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like somebody who's not playing is watching the game. And then they ask a question.
Right.
You know?
They're not even involved.
They're not even involved in moving it. And only they would know.
Right.
Like, and then the spirit would get it. And I'm like, holy moly, like chills, like goosebumps.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
Yeah, I think like the Ouija board is like hit or miss. You got to be in the right setting. You got to be with the right people.
Yep.
Because me and Matt, after he played with the Ouija board, I remember like spending the night at his crib. Like we're both 12. And he was telling me about his Ouija board experience. And I didn't want to say he was lying because I didn't believe he was lying. But I was a skeptic when it came to.
It was just a little hard to believe.
Yeah, it was a little bit hard to believe. And I was a little bit of a skeptic when it came to like Ouija board even being real. So I was like, he's claiming it to be real. I don't want to call him a liar. Let me see it for myself. And let me play the Ouija board. So he told me, he was like, I'm not playing it again. He's like, but you can play it by yourself. And I was like, say less. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember he took precautionary measures. Like I had a rosary around my neck. I think he put some holy water on me.
Yeah.
And I
works.
was about to play it like right in his living room. He was like, oh, no, you're not playing in the house. And I remember we went to the garage and we were probably there, honestly, for like an hour. And I was like asking it questions, trying to make it move. And it just was not moving for the life of me. Like it was not moving. I was like, if this is real, you have the ability to possess my soul right now. Take over my body. Yeah. And nothing happened.
Nothing. Crickets.
Nothing happened. But that wasn't the time that shit happened with Bachi, right? That was a different time.
That was a different time. Yeah, that was a different time.
Bachi had a few occasions.
Yeah,
I don't know if we ever told you that story about what happened with Bachi, but basically a similar situation. I think that when I went out there, that time that he told me about it, it was paper.
Yeah.
Then he ended up buying a real Ouija board. I did it again, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then we were going back into the crib, you know, like from the garage to the back door to his mom's crib.
Yeah.
And no one was home. It was just me, him, and a dog. We heard like screaming. Like me and Matt heard screaming coming from inside the house. We're like, what the fuck is that?
Oh God.
And then you could kind of hear like Bachi barking.
Yeah.
And we're like, bro, what the hell is going on? That sounded like he was like crying. Like
Yeah.
like not like angry barking, but like scared.
Yeah.
So I was like, bro, like we gotta go in there and help the dog.
Yeah.
So I remember I was like, on 3, we're gonna go in there.
Wait, where was Bachi at? In the garage?
No, we're about to get there. He's in the crib. We're coming from the garage. So we're on the back door and we're about to open the door and we hear screaming. And we're like, what the fuck? I remember like I think I opened the door to like run in there, like just run in there and get the dog in and run out because we didn't know what the hell was going on. When I opened the door, like I froze because like we heard the screaming, but when I opened the door, it was like the screaming like surrounded me. It was like all over me, and I was like, whoa.
Wow.
And then I remember we ran to the door, and his room door is like Stephanie's old room.
Yeah.
His room door, we opened it, the dog went pew, like ran right past us, ran through the back door and went outside, and it was just gone
Instantly.
Instantly. And then we went into Matt's room, and he had the sound system in there.
Yeah.
And it was like on some like radio station that was like off the frequency, like it was like.
That's the same similar situation that happened to us.
Yeah, like a similar
Whole time.
situation.
No way.
Yes. Like it was like loud to the fucking core.
And that's
Is that
what,
the
like,
same? Oh, no, I don't even know if that's the same situation.
That's what made me feel weird was like the fact that like the radio was always tweaking out.
Right.
You know.
And he didn't even have it was an old like early 2000s radio. So
Yeah.
you needed an antenna.
Right.
Without the antenna, it's useless.
The antenna was in the garage. It wasn't even plugged into the radio thing.
Right.
And we had just finished playing video games in his room, and we had the volume kind of modest. We didn't have it blasting loud.
Yeah.
So it was set to an aux.
A whole different input.
It wasn't even set to FM radio. It was set to aux, and it was like medium volume.
Yeah.
But then somehow it went to FM radio without the antenna at full blast capacity.
Right.
And the dog was in the room with the door closed somehow.
Yeah, because like, how does the door get closed? You know, how does the dog lock himself in the door?
With our situation, it was a little different. I think we were in the room like playing the game or some shit.
Yeah.
And we heard like that same noise. Like it was like a real like.
Wait, what room? Same room?
Same room.
Yeah,
the,
same
like,
room.
The room we were in most of the time.
Yeah.
Bro, that shit was like a super high pitch. Bachi starts like barking like if someone came in the house.
Yeah.
Like if someone was intruding the crib. Like
Yeah.
he was overly barking. So we're like, what the fuck? We opened the door and like we little by little we started figuring out like, oh, it might be the fucking stereo station or some shit or whatever the fuck. But that right there, like, it kind of like stuck with me a little bit before we played the real Ouija board.
Right.
Like, man, like there could be like a real spirit, like a spirit.
Where was the radio station when you guys found it?
Where the fuck was it? Wasn't it like?
I don't remember. All I know is like I turned that shit off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Unplug?
Yeah, it's like, man, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck all that bullshit.
No, the radio gave me bad vibes, like to the point where I'm like, yeah, like this radio, I think something gotta be weird with this radio because this motherfucker's always tweaking out, but it would only happen in those moments.
Yeah.
Like
It never happened by yourself?
It didn't happen by itself.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. I remember me and Matt in 2016 used to play the game like late as fuck, like every night in 2016, like Black Ops 3, Division, 2K, Battlefield 1. We would be up late. And I remember I had the headset on. He had the headset on. We're at a PlayStation party at like 2 a.m. And like, you know, his parents would knock on his door, knock on his room. He'd be like, yo, they come in, say what they got to say. This one night, I heard it. Like, someone knocked on Matthew's door, so I'm not even thinking about it. And then he was like, yo, and like, he opens his door, and he's like, bro, like, did you hear that? I was like, yeah.
Bro,
he was
that
like,
was multiple
that's
times.
so
that was
scary.
weird.
That
No,
was multiple times.
I heard it. I heard
That was
it on the
multiple times.
PlayStation party. I'm at my crib.
That's so scary.
And
Bro, didn't I tell you before that happened that happened?
Yes.
Like I
yes,
literally,
yes.
like I literally told you, like, bro, like I swear, like I heard somebody.
that shit gives me
knocking.
chills right now.
Yeah, bro. No, like, no. I'm glad you brought that up because that's a memory I forgot.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it was real. It was real. Like,
Yeah.
No,
like
it was real. Like, I got scared of it.
Yeah.
because like with the radio situation, that was real. It was real. And that always freaked me out. But that knocking stuff felt like they were like playing with me.
Well, hold on. On top of that, too, like with a radio, you can kind of chalk it up to like faulty technology.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, something
Yeah.
went off.
But hearing someone knock on your door, that's not technology.
Yes,
that's
it's
not
not-
technology.
Right.
Yes.
And there was nobody in my house who was on that type of time to play around with my door.
Right.
Yeah.
Like your dad's not gonna wake up and knock on your door and then go back to the
Exactly,
room.
bro. Like my sister's
Yeah,
not on
exactly.
that. Like she's not on that.
Yeah.
So that made no sense. And the fact that like it happened before, and I would tell Angel like, bro, like I just heard something, like somebody at my door, and I'm like, I guess there's nobody there. And then like the fact that it happened again later, and he heard it.
Yeah.
Through the party on PlayStation?
The party on
Listen.
PlayStation, bro.
Like, I'm talking about the game's loud as hell. I'm playing Black Ops 3 multiplayer, not listening for a knock at his door. And like when the knock happened, it's like the game was silent for a second. Like I heard like, and
it was
then,
like-
and then
Yeah.
I think he got up to open the door and like it was pitch black. Nobody was home. He was like, bro, like, did you fucking hear that? I was like, yeah, like I did hear that.
Man.
And I was like, yeah, like I heard it crystal clear. Like if you asked me what that noise was before he checked, I would have been like, yeah, someone knocked on his door.
No, because I had to ask. Cause I'm like, I'm not crazy, bro. I'm like I'm hearing knocks at my door.
There was
dog.
a knock.
and
Yeah.
it wasn't like just a tapping sound or something. It was like
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like that. It was two knocks.
Like
It was
crystal
two
clear.
knocks.
like
Crystal clear.
like
Two knocks. yeah, like you. Yes. You could not mistake the sound for anything else. That's
so
what the sound
scary,
was,
bro.
100%.
yeah.
I'll lose my shit. Like I'll probably crash out if that happens to
And
me. Like,
I didn't know what to do, bro. Like,
Yeah,
I was like, what can you do? Like,
Yeah.
I'm playing this game. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna stop playing this game, but
Yeah.
like I don't know what to do at that point.
Like lock your door, hide
Yeah.
your kids, hide your wife.
we should start talking about like the Zozo
Yeah.
experiences.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And like
you should explain what Zozo is.
yeah,
because
let
he
me
loves you.
bring it into context. So
loves
one
y'all.
day we decided like let's play the Ouija board, right? Like that's how that came about. And of course in everybody's mind we're already thinking like this shit don't work really. It's a scam. Woo woo whatever.
It's a scam.
It's a scam. Like it's make
Snake
believe.
oil, snake oil.
Right. So we're like, fuck it, let's do it. We started asking it questions like you would normally typically do with a Ouija board. And I think one of the questions were like, out of everyone in this room right now, who do you want? Or some shit came about like that. And it started like spelling like my name, Nate, right? So it would go to the N, it would go to the A, and like everybody's hand, I hope the camera can see my hands. Let's say this is the Ouija board, we're barely touching it. Like it was
Yeah.
like we all made sure no ego involved, no pride involved.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
your fingers gotta be barely touching that shit.
One finger, like.
So like even if you wanted to like move it, you can't.
Bro, like your fingers are literally like a little suspended off of the thing.
It'll slip off. Like
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't be right. So as that was happening, we're all kind of like looking at each other, like what the fuck is going on, like whatever. I think at that point I was like, I wouldn't say getting worried, But I'm like, all right, like, let me see what this is talking about. So we so happened to ask, like, hey, what's your name? And it's spelled out Zozo. And we're like, what the fuck? Like, who the hell is that? So we did some research. Didn't we do some research?
we
like we
looked
looked
it
it
up.
up. Like,
sure did.
who's
Yep.
Zozo?
It's like an infamous Ouija board demon.
Infamous. Like the main guy of like Ouija
The,
boards.
the Ouija board demon.
And we knew nothing
yeah,
about
we
it.
knew.
No.
Yeah, there was
We
no,
knew
like,
we didn't know who Zozo was. That we didn't research none of that of nothing.
And he said he wanted Nathan.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes me and Matt would play the Ouija board like right after Nathan left.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But when Nathan would come back, it would start to work.
It was like-
and I remember like 2 times after that, we played it again, and we were like, who's there? And it was like Z-O, Z-O, Z-O,
Yeah.
Z-O. It
Yep.
just kept going. It just
Yeah.
kept
Back
going
and
back
forth.
and forth.
To the point where I had to watch like Nathan play. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
like is Nathan like controlling this shit?
Yeah.
And no, like I would watch your fingers
Yeah.
slipping off the
Right.
thing.
And there would be a few times where like I'll be at my house or some shit, and my homies right here were on some Ouija board time, and they're like, "Hey, we're trying to play the Ouija board. There's just one problem. We need you here."
Yeah, 'cause
and
it
I'm
wouldn't
like,
work.
I'm like, damn, like, all right, like I guess I gotta play the Ouija board. It started getting to a point where not only the first time we played it, Zozo would come around or ask for me. Started happening like frequently, like every single time we would touch the Ouija board, my name would be involved, and then Zozo's name would be involved.
Yeah.
And it was getting pretty sketchy.
It was almost like a guarantee. It was
Yeah.
almost like a guarantee.
Yep. It was really weird. And I remember it even said like you were gonna go to jail or something.
Yeah. Luckily, by the grace of God, you know what I'm saying, I ain't touched no prison. I don't plan to do that ever.
Yep.
You're not gonna. You're not gonna.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. But yeah, that's what he was talking about. And like I said, like we would play it a lot of times, and it's like the buddy just wanted me for
Yeah.
some reason.
Yep.
He had an
And-
affinity for
But
Nathan.
you know that's why that stuff is the devil.
Yeah, literally.
That's why that stuff is the devil because
Literally.
at the end of the day, like they telling you you're going to jail, you're going to manifest that, and you're going to end
exactly.
up in jail.
Like Zozo told me that.
Fortune teller ain't God. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Like fortune teller's demon product.
Right. But yeah, Ouija board was nuts.
Yeah,
Ouija
was
board
nuts.
was nuts.
That's some bad experiences.
We even played like Ouija board in a few abandoned houses as well.
Oh,
From
yeah,
what I
oh, yeah.
remember.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we were like, I think we were a little bit older, like 14 or 13.
And
And
it
it
would
was,
be like 2016. So it would be like
yeah,
15.
it would have been like 15. It was obviously the 3 of us, and then like y'all cousin Brandon.
Yeah.
Was there another one with us? Or was there
Jake, it
4?
was probably Jacob
I
or
think it was just Brandon. I think it was
Yeah.
just Brandon that day.
I remember we wanted to play Ouija board, but like we kind of got used to like the whole like Zozo thing, playing
Yeah.
it in the house.
Yeah.
Like we got used to it, so we're like, we gotta up the ante. We gotta like up the stakes,
Make it
So
scary.
we're like, let's go into like an abandoned building.
Yeah.
And luckily enough, there was a vacant building that was super boarded up.
right down the street.
Like right across the alley,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember like we broke like a hole in the fence.
Oh, yeah.
We went underneath the fence, and then we went into like.
Wait, to pause you real quick. Do you remember like being in that moment?
I do. I
Like when we were
remember
like,
that day.
we had
Oh,
to
yeah.
like hop a fence or some
Yeah.
shit. We had to like look around,
was
make sure
obstacles.
like it was obstacles. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't just like we're in an abandoned building. Like we had to work to get into that abandoned building.
And then there was like it was like a door or like one of the things that opened. I forgot if it was just a door or a thing that opened up. Remember? It was one of those kind of things that led into the basement. And there was a lock. There was a padlock on that bitch. We broke it. We just broke the padlock off. And then we went in there, and it was like the creepiest. It was like the creepiest like abandoned like an abandoned building you could think of. Like it was not like the drywall was ripped down. You
Yeah.
could see through the walls and
Mold
shit.
on it.
Mold. Like it was a messed up ass house. And we all went into the basement and we played Ouija board. And we only had our phone flashlight. And then I remember like nothing really happening with the Ouija board, but like didn't we hear like someone walking upstairs?
Yeah, there was like footsteps
there
or
was,
some
like,
shit.
It sounded like people were in the crib like walking upstairs, not like crazy,
And
but
people
like,
were not supposed to be in the
no,
crib.
we were
Nobody.
We were kind of like spooked, not because of like ghosts, but we're like if like police,
Right.
or like the person who owns this place is like
Or
in
someone just
here.
bought it, trying to
Any-
buy to renovate
Any
it.
of the realities.
Yeah.
We're like, hell no.
So
Yeah.
we were like, let's get the hell out of here. And
But we played the Ouija board first.
well, yeah, we played the Ouija board.
We played the Ouija board first. And I remember playing the Ouija board in there. Playing the Ouija board in there was funny because it was like we were like hoping to get some like
some action.
like a murderer. Like
Yeah.
I died here 30 years ago.
Yeah.
yeah, if you don't get out of here, I'll kill you.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Did anything happen in there? No, I
It
don't
wasn't
think so, right?
spicy.
No,
Maybe
maybe
there.
like the energy of like y'all not even like in it for real.
Yeah, exactly.
I was in it. I wanted
I was in it.
Yeah.
I wanted everything to happen.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
no,
saying?
but maybe it was like a little bit slight energy of like who's upstairs.
Yeah.
No, remember the other one that we broke into? Remember the other one down
The
street?
corner store?
The corner store?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Remember the corner store?
Oh yeah. I remember the corner store. That shit was scary.
I always wanted to go in there after y'all told me that, but it was
you never went in?
No, I think y'all went in, and then we were gonna do it, but remember, like they like super locked it up the next
Oh,
time.
Remember the next time we tried to go, like they yelled at us or something like that? Like somebody was like watching.
Oh yeah.
Somebody was watching.
They're like, get the fuck out of here or some
you
shit.
weren't there for that one? No, I
I
remember
think I don't remember.
No.
we were about to go in there. Like we're like, yeah, let's fucking. We're going to go in there again. Like, who cares? And we were gonna go in there, and then like someone was like, "Hey, get the fuck out!"
Yeah.
We're
We're
like,
like,
"Go
oh shit.
Like, I'm gonna call the police.
Yeah.
I'm
We're like,
yeah,
yeah. Like, fuck out of here.
chill out. So we just took off. But the first time we were in there, like it was weird. Like,
Oh yeah.
like we went into the corner store, and then we went into the basement.
There was like 3 doors to break or like
Yeah.
get into or some shit.
And
And like right when we opened the last one, it was just real like I felt overwhelmed with
Yeah.
shit. Like it was like,
we gotta get
whoa.
the fuck out of
Yeah.
here. ASAP.
Like an energy hit.
Yeah, like right away. Like right when the
Yeah.
door opened, it was like
Yes, real bad.
Yeah.
When we went into the basement over there, it wasn't as bad.
No, there was no like.
There wasn't none of that. When we went to that corner store house, that was like we
heebie-jeebies
should
to the
not be
max.
here. We gotta get out of here
Yeah.
ASAP.
It's funny because like that corner store was a smaller structure of building. Like
Yeah.
it was like it was like a quarter of a block
Yeah.
max. And the building is a whole building. I got 3 floors. And like, what happened to that little space?
Bro,
Yeah.
no, I remember when I was a kid, it used to be open.
Oh yeah.
Are you going there?
Oh yeah, when I was a kid, that was that street was
Yeah.
very different.
Yeah.
You know, as a kid, and that corner store, I would go over there, get like a popsicle or something. Like 5 years old, me and my mom would walk over there. Everybody would go there on the block. I remember
Yeah.
it was a nice little spot, but they closed early. Like when I was shorty, like
Yeah.
6 years old, they were closed.
Unexplainably.
I mean, financial troubles.
Yeah.